Hello, a very warm soul-to-soul blessing to you. You're most welcome to the 5th video in this series, Antahkarana, Building the Rainbow Bridge. This is a series of videos created to just help explain the free PDF download that's available on my website that explains the science of Antahkarana thread weaving and also highlights the rainbow bridge techniques, which the rainbow bridge building stages were documented in, meaning students who consistently utilized the rainbow bridge techniques, recording the Antahkarana thread weaving and light body building process that occurred as they progressed with the techniques. For being able to access the booklet, please go onto my website, www.chloefolan.com. The PDF is called Building the Rainbow Bridge, and there is a free link to click on to be able to download a copy, to be able to follow along with the video series. As I say in the videos, it is best to watch these videos in sequence to help give a reference point for what I discuss as we move through discussing the rainbow bridge building stages, which are documented Antahkarana thread weaving stages. The bulk of the information discussed in this video and the bulk of the information available in the PDF booklet was available nowhere else. And I was the first to document this phenomena in such detail and to be able to explain it in such detail. On that note, I do hope that you find this video series very informative. So without further ado, I'm now going to be discussing in this video stages 7 and 8 of the rainbow bridge building stages for the 5th video. I would just like to bring up my screen share. So this is the PDF booklet. And apologies for those that watched the 4th video. You might have realized that while I was talking about the right pages for the document on my screen, I actually was referencing the booklet draft before this one. So there was a little more added to the final release. So like that, I do notice that some people did catch that, but understood what I was talking about and still were able to follow along on the particular pages, because I'm still discussing, I'm just at the contents section, which is on page 3 of the PDF that you're downloading from the website. So I'm still on stages of building the rainbow bridge, starting on page 15 and scrolling down to where, 2 moments please, to where I start discussing just a brief summary of stages 7 and 8 of rainbow bridge building. So this is page 21, stage 7. So just to recap, on the last video, we finished with discussing stage 6, which is living authentically, which is embodying that if anything comes your way that's not in alignment with your ray makeup and your original contracts and path, it just crumbles and you don't have to do anything about it. Your yeses with a little bit of conscious effort on your part continue, and your no's because of free will. So like that, people would ask, well, what's dictating that as well? Meaning, yes, understanding that because you've grounded your ray path, a part of the gift in that is living authentically, and anything that's not authentic just crumbling on impact and what's for you continuing. But the other factor that helps with that is free will. So the reason why I say it's stage 6, what you do still needs some conscious effort on your part. Not a lot of it's for you, it'll crumble, it won't take a lot of working out. If it is for you, it will continue. But the reason I say you still need to put in a little bit of conscious effort is because you always have and maintain free will. So we ended with discussing stage 6 and the causation of stage 6. And I'm now going to progress on to stage 7. So with stage 7, what marks that stage of development, and once again, I'm keeping it brief. There are other phenomena to look for, but keeping it brief. Stage 7 marks the chakra centers starting to go a orangey, fiery, golden color. Literally, if you've ever been at a bonfire and looked at the flames of a bonfire, like that, but very high frequency, just beautiful colors of oranges and yellows. Sometimes you can see, well, oranges and yellows mainly, but sometimes a mix of those colors, but it literally looks like beautiful lanterns of light within each chakra. And same as stage 6, it's usually the base chakra that will go that fiery, golden, orangey color first, and it's usually crown last, and it can be any order in between, meaning it's always one chakra at a time, usually base chakra first, crown center last. But after the base chakra goes that beautiful color, it then might skip to the throat and then go to the solar plexus, come back up to the third eye. So it can be any order in between, but one at a time. And what's happening there is because at that point, and we discussed this with stage 6, because at that point there is no imbalanced karma remaining, or nothing that needs to be neutralized or righted, so to speak, internally and externally. Stage 6 is your clean slate. So what happens with stage 7, as you continue utilizing the Rainbow Bridge techniques, is because there are no internal patterns remaining to work on, it starts to refine chemical processes in the body. So it starts to work on refining hormone function. It starts to work on refining chemical function within the body very gently and in alignment with your body's system. So it starts to gently refine hormone and chemical processes within the body. The other manifestation impact that this stage has, and also, can I just add, it helps to correct, if I may use that term, any chemical and hormonal imbalances in the body. That's the impact it has. It starts to refine hormone function and natural chemical processes in the body. The other, how do I put this, manifestation impact that this stage has is freedom of choice. Meaning, as the chakra centers go that fiery golden orange color, it starts to initiate having full conscious decisions over choices you make. And it brings you to a point where you're realizing that as those chakras go that fiery golden orange color, and it attracts in life circumstances for embodying what I'm talking about, it helps you to realize that your choices are your own. Because of all of the prior imbalance worked through before getting to stage 7, the handful of case studies I have for stage 7, well, I've got more than a handful, but like that, it takes consistent practice to get to this point. So like anything, you need to keep up with the practice. So the same way explaining it on a very basic level, you can have a whole lot of people enter into a basic level of education, but then only a few, after they're certified, only a certain portion of the group will then go on to do a diploma. Then it can be a smaller group again that will go on to do a degree. Smaller amount again that will go on to do a doctorate or a bachelor's or a PhD. So, law of correspondence. I have more than a handful of case studies who are at this level, but it does take consistent practice, and it would be lovely for more people to continue with the practices. And like that, I know a lot of people do continue with the practices who don't continually make contact with me. So I know there are a lot of people out there doing this privately, solo, by themselves. But what I'm trying to say is that this information is based on case studies, documented case studies over the last 9 years. So the other causation that this has is because of all of the imbalance worked through in the prior stages of building. One thing people start to notice at this stage is they go through choices, as this triggers choices. They realize they are now in a condition within themselves where they're not having to choose the lesser of two evils, meaning they start to embody and fully experience, number one, being fully conscious of what's happening to and around them. Number two, being fully conscious of the avenues of choice they have, and realizing that the main factor dictating what they choose is them. Meaning no longer finding themselves between a rock and a hard place. With the lower stages of rainbow bridge building, people are still going through extremes in duality at certain times. And those extremes in duality, because of the wounding still being worked through, can land someone in a quandary where they can find themselves in a bit of tight spot, which of course then lessens and heals as they continue with the rainbow bridge techniques and unwound their woundings. So by the time someone's worked through their core wounds and gets to this point with stage 7, it dawns on them that as life triggers choices, they all of a sudden are realizing, oh my God, it's ultimately up to me if I make this choice or not. I'm not being forced by this circumstance to make a choice. I'm not being forced by this circumstance to make a choice. Oh my God. It's all it's up to is me as to what direction I want to go in. And I understand I could go in this direction or this direction. But oh my goodness, what a gift. It's ultimately my choice. So that's why I also call this stage esoteric freedom, meaning realizing that your choices are your own. Now, in saying that, and you will notice when I'm describing the summary of stage 7, and the sentence is very important, it's the last sentence in the second paragraph on stage 7. It is important to remember, however, that you do not and cannot control everything that happens to you. So there are always variables. So someone shouldn't take me talking about stage 7 in an immature fashion, meaning, oh, well, because of the clearing I now reach, I control what happens. Yes and no. You reach a point with stage 7 where you realize what will end up helping you make a choice is ultimately what you decide consciously. You know, it's not being forced here or forced there, or do you know what I mean? It's you. It's you making that choice. And more to the point, the choices you get confronted with as the centers go that fiery golden orange color are opportunities for deeper freedom. I'll say that again, opportunities for deeper freedom. But once again, that can't override free will. The choices you get confronted with at stage 7 prompt you to consider consciously making choices that more deeply free your life and keep you in a position where you are free to always choose. In other words, it really challenges you in a good way to stop making choices that, you know, land you in a position where your freedom gets eaten up or your freedom gets restricted. meaning freedom to choose. So by the time someone has completed stage 7, and like that, everyone's life circumstances are different, people find themselves in a lifestyle and life circumstance condition where they have a lot of freedom available to them because of the conscious choices that they've made as part of the development of stage 7. But I'll say it again, there are always variables. There are always variables. I believe that's all I wanted to share about stage 7. So I'd like to now briefly discuss stage 8. I'm still on the same page, stage 8. So with stage 8, all of the chakras, once again, one by one, and once again, sometimes the same order as the prior 2 stages, meaning usually base chakra first with the black spiral, and the crown last, and then any order in between. But the black spirals are different. And I find this stage fascinating. Fascinating. The black spirals that form, and now let me come to speaking about astronomy, which is the study of planets and the universe. Now, I'm not an astronomer. I would only know a little bit about astronomy in terms of how it relates to stage 8. Those black spirals forming look very similar to the early stages of a new universe. Meaning, when you look at our galaxy, it's a spiral galaxy, but it didn't always have all of those colors. It would have started off as a small black spiral before gathering more material to form that galaxy. And that is, once again, law of correspondence. Law of correspondence. Those black spirals are connected to the formation of the next system. And now I'm talking about esotericism and ageless wisdom, as well as what's coming in terms of evolutionary development for the human race, for the solar system, and beyond. When a galaxy forms, it's embryonic in its early stages. Those black spirals that start to form at the eighth stage are linked with the efforts and energy needed to form the next system, which will be a system of circles under the red ray of will and power. But that system is still a very long way off. What I find interesting is astronomers say that you can tell, apparently, where a new universe will be forming about 2 million years before it forms, based on what they're seeing in space. So they can usually tell about 2 million years beforehand where a new universe or system is starting to form in space. At the moment, we are in an indigo system under the love wisdom second ray, and we are at the midway point of triangles. Once again, coming to astronomy, and if I'm getting it correct, I believe they predicted our sun, meaning the sun in our solar system is apparently going to die out and supernova, if I've said that term correctly, in about around between 4 to 5 billion years' time. So at that point, it would be hoped that the next system would have already formed. And that's why I find stage 8 so fascinating, because I believe I'm witnessing how our energies in this solar system, where we tie into helping that next system form. So even though apparently this solar system will come to a close in about 4 to 5 billion years, and apparently astronomers can see where a new solar system is going to form 2 million years ahead of time. Here we are now, 4 to 5 billion years away from the next system. And I'm fascinated with witnessing when stage 8 occurs, meaning the black spirals forming. Because by the time this system comes to a close, my goodness, we'd want to hope the next one is up and running. So it's good to see that, you know, people are getting to a point now, once again, with the Rainbow Bridge building, with the Rainbow Bridge clearing techniques, with the Rainbow Bridge soul star clearing techniques, that we are able to get to a point in our evolution where we are assisting the formation of the next system with those black spirals forming. So that would tell me that in about 2 million years' time, astronomers are going to be able to predict where that next system will be. Now, I do have voluminous notes on that already, on what my own predictions would be, but I will be withholding that until I have all of that information together with all of the diagrams, charts, and plates. And that information will be released in the full book, Building the Rainbow Bridge. So please be patient with me. I do hope to have that book released sometime next year, and it will contain all of that phenomena, and the book will be reasonably priced, you know, the price of a normal book. Coming back to stage 8, so that's the very lofty connection of stage 8 to the formation of the next system of circles under the red ray. On a more practical level, if you could call it that, what this stage also marks, so in more of a personal way, what stage 8 does. Stage 8 helps you seal the door where evil dwells. And it's not as dramatic as it might seem, but that's the best way I can describe it. Stage 8, on a personal level, helps you live through sealing the door where evil dwells. Now, what I mean by that, and once again, coming to stage 7, reminding people that even as you're confronted with making choices that lead to esoteric freedom in terms of lifestyle and freedom of choice and freeing up your life to have more freedom in different ways, freedom to choose, freedom in many different senses like that. I'm just trying to keep this brief. I said quite clearly that there are always variables. So stage 8 covers you being shown where there is any window of opportunity for nonsense to throw you off center. So in other words, you could have someone going through stage 8, just going about their business, minding their own business. And then all of a sudden there's this bit of a curveball that seems to, in one way, come out of nowhere, where nonsense just erupts. And it's the type of nonsense that could either temporarily pull you off your path, and it would only be temporary if you're keeping up with the Rainbow Bridge clearing techniques. That's the gift, and it keeps you moving in a direction that's right and healthy for you. But like that, it can be sometimes a bit shocking where the nonsense can come from that could potentially temporarily throw you off doing what you're meant to be doing. So like that, while you'll always be able to very quickly steady yourself because of the integration point you've reached with building the light body with stage 8. But that's my best way of describing this very briefly. Stage 8 is about sealing the door where evil dwells, meaning it being revealed to you where there's nonsense on the periphery, that coming to light and you being able to go, no. Seal the door where evil dwells, and you'll be able to deal with it very gracefully, and no, this is the path I'm going to continue on. Thank God I saw that. Thank God I noticed that. Thank God that came to my attention. And I'm now going to keep moving forward. Done. I'm just having a look at my notes to see if there's anything else I'd like to share about stage 8. Yes. The other impact of stage 8 is being able to receive impression and receive information that helps with future endeavors. So in other words, let's just take an engineer, someone with the ray makeup of an engineer. May I be clear about that as well, by the way, that there are ray makeups that cause people to be very gifted as accountants, as people that work in finance and business. There are ray makeups that make people very gifted as artists, whether that's a writer or more of a traditional artist or someone who works just in the arts. There are ray makeups of people that cause them to be very gifted in study and research. So it doesn't mean that, you know, doing the rainbow bridge techniques is going to make you a Reiki healer or make you a tarot card reader. It will make you for who you are meant to be and help you integrate that and embody that to your fullest potential with some effort on your part. Once again, free will. So let's take someone who is an engineer who gets to stage 8. They will be able to receive impression or receive a download, as it's called. I've noticed in the last year an awful lot of people describing receiving impression. The new word seems to be receiving a download. Receiving a download of information that relates to engineering of the future. Now, that's not to say that people aren't doing that already. There's some very gifted engineers, and there have already been some very gifted engineers. There was one French engineer, I believe, who had actually drawn up blueprints and schematics for how to create sustainable cities. You know, low waste, low carbon, low energy drainage, very eco-driven, very clean, like that room for people, you know, nice spacious living areas, not everyone in dog boxes above each other. It was beautiful, the research that I came across that this French engineer had done. And I would think it would be amazing if someone like that would do the rainbow bridge clearing techniques and get to stage 8. Can you imagine what they'd come up with if someone already kind of doing that work would do the soul star clearing techniques and keep up with the techniques long enough to reach stage 8? My goodness, what would they come up with? Wow. So like that, what I also would like to say is what would also probably happen is if someone had engineering plans like that, what this would also assist with is helping those plans come to fruition. Meaning that French engineer's blueprints and all of his plans are available and accessible, but no one's done anything with them. He put all of that work and energy and effort into it, and it just stayed in the realm of thought on written paper. So what this would have helped with is finding a pathway for those plans to come to fruition. So I hope that's helped to better explain stage 7 and stage 8 of the Rainbow Bridge building stages. I just want to stop my screen share. On that note, I do believe that concludes the main body of this mini series, where I just wanted to highlight certain points of the PDF document Building the Rainbow Bridge, just to help guide you through it, and also to start with just directing your attention to where the glossary is, the foreword, which is a very good read to get a reference point. And I've just covered the chapter on the summary stages of Building the Rainbow Bridge. So that's happened across the first 5 videos. Do feel free to review them as much as you like while studying the document. I do believe that concludes the main videos that I will be creating. My impression would be that moving forward, the videos I will be adding will be highlighting different aspects of the booklet that I would like to more pinpoint and bring attention to. On that note, I certainly hope you've enjoyed the first 5 videos and found them very helpful. As always, if there's any questions, please feel free to contact me through my website, www.chloefolan.com. Blessings to you.